Hello everyone. Today I will be telling you something more about data collection tools in research. Now let's talk about data collection tools in research. There are a number of techniques available to researchers for collection of data. To decide the best tool, the researcher should find out what information is needed from the respondent. Today I'll tell you three important data collection methods: the observation method, questionnaire method, and interview method. So first, let's understand what is research. Research is the systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. Research involves investigation by systematic data gathering, analysis to arrive at a conclusion, and creation of new knowledge. It collects unspoken knowledge. It is usually reported in theses and dissertations. Apart from this, it can be noted in journal articles or conference papers. Observation method, the most primitive as well as modern method. Can someone tell me what is observation?
Observation involves watching the things from a particular angle and assessing from a viewpoint.
Can you tell me what do you observe in this picture?
Books,
Yes. Anything else?
library staff working.
Yes. But using this method at the time of research, you need to watch with a purpose and observe only the content you think will be useful as a data for your research. There are basically two types of observation. The first type is the structured observation. This type is used when we already have a basic knowledge of the components of the items or processes to be studied. For example, reading room facilities in college libraries or reference services in college libraries. The components are listed in a checklist format and all the components are observed. Coming to the second type, the unstructured observation. In this method, the researcher does not have any predetermined sets of categories of behaviors to use. Thus, it is a relatively flexible technique. In this technique, standardization is difficult. Coming to the advantages of the observation method, the first and the basic advantage is it is possible to record behavior as it occurs. Another advantage of this method is it permits a variety of researcher perspectives or degrees of involvement with the situation being observed. So now let's talk about our next data collection tool. The most commonly used tool in any research is questionnaire. Now, let's talk about questionnaire. Can someone tell me what is questionnaire?
A list of questions.
Exactly. A questionnaire is a research instrument consisting of a series of questions for the purpose of gathering information from the respondents. It is a set of predetermined questions for all respondents which they have to answer on their own. This method is used to collect factual information. In this method, a list of questions is provided to the respondents by personal or by mail. They have to read it and answer it on their own. In a questionnaire, there can be two types of questions: factual questions or opinion based questions. Factual questions normally pertain to respondents' age, education, library experience, or any other pertinent personal data needed in the study. This usually contains factual questions about the respondent. While opinion and attitude based questions are valuable to obtain information about respondents' beliefs, values, concepts, and attitude towards a specific topic. There are some points to be remembered while making a questionnaire. First, ambiguous questions must be avoided. Next point to be remembered is basic information of the respondent should be known to be questioned. The order of the questions should go from general questions to specific questions. You should try to start with a general fact finding questions and then proceed to specific questions. Last, the length of the questionnaire should be precise. There are two types of questionnaires that can be prepared: close-ended questionnaire and open-ended questionnaire. Close-ended questionnaire is also known as structured questionnaire. In this type, respondent has to choose from a given set of answers to reflect various views. It is just like a multiple choice questionnaires. Open-ended questionnaire, also known as unstructured questionnaire. These type of questions allow respondents to reply freely without having to select one of several responses provided. Any of the one type said is used to prepare a questionnaire. This is the most common method used for research as it covers large number of data and is very cost effective. The last but not the least, let's talk about the interview method. In simple terms, interview means conversation with a purpose. This could be a powerful instrument for obtaining information. It is a person to person conversation in which data is collected from the interaction and recorded for further investigation. The basic step for the interview is to prepare a schedule. In order to make the interview successful and to obtain the necessary information required, there are some points that need to be considered. The basic and the important point that need to be considered is while conducting an interview, the interviewer should attempt to create a friendly atmosphere. A list of questions should be prepared well in advance. Usually, the sequence of questions should go from general to specific. The interviewer should be clear enough while asking the questions. The interviewer should rephrase the questions to make it easier to understand for the interviewee and to answer it correctly. The very important part to be considered is that the interviewer should not react to any of the responses. Like any of the emotions of the interviewer must not reflect on his face or by any kind. Because such responses can bias the future responses. It is very important for an interview that the responses and opinions are alone and not of both. The very important part to be considered is that the interviewer should not react to any kind of the responses. Any emotions of the interviewer must not reflect because such reactions can bias the future responses. It is very important in an interview that the responses and opinions are alone of the interviewee and not of the both. In this method, the problem, the interview schedule, and the information needed should be clearly stated. The most important advantage of this method is it is possible to abstract facts like attitudes, feelings, expressions, emotions of the interviewee, which is not possible in other methods. So, in a way, we also come to know the unspoken words of the respondent.
Do you find the desired book in library?
Yes,
How do you search the books in library?
author wise and sometimes title wise.
How does library staff helps you to find the books in library?
Yes, they help in finding and reviewing the books from the shelves and sometimes also they suggest some new books.
Now, you might be wondering which tool should you finally choose for your research. Questionnaire method and the interview methods are frequently used for obtaining information about a person's perceptions, beliefs, attitudes, and so on, while observational methods are best suited. In developing any of the three data collection techniques, the researcher must make decisions regarding the specific types of questions to be used or the types of behavior to be observed. These decisions are greatly affected by the kind of information needed and the nature of the study. Finally, in selecting a specific technique, the researcher should weigh the various pros and cons of each method. If the response rate is needed is high, interview method should be selected. For cost effective method, questionnaire method should be selected. No one method is likely to be perfect for a given situation, but it should be possible to select one technique as the best alternative according to the situation. Hope you liked this video. Thank you.